Greetings, community.
We are
Comic Talk.
one, two comic talk. 1-2 comic talk. And we're going to be talking about
Some comics from this week's poll.
from 3/11, which was my birthday.
Happy birthday.
What book should we talk about, though?
The book I was waiting on was stolen, but that's a separate story.
I've been reading the book Money Shot.
I haven't read that one yet.
I also been reading
Yo, what are they doing?
Unsacred.
Hey, what are you guys doing in there?
Oh my god.
I think they're trying to hijack our show, Kai.
I'm bouncing in there.
Hey, community, how you doing? We are all 1-2,
Comic Talk.
and we're glad to see you guys. I don't know if anyone's in there in the chat, but we love seeing anyone and everyone that might be out there. Hey, some comic book hunter, how you doing, man? Oh no, Kevin's stream has been exactly. So we're gonna do some new introductions here. So we're gonna start over here, and this is
Khalees.
hi, Khalees, and this is
Jerry.
and that's my daughter. That's her boyfriend. Kid on the end is
Kai.
yeah, that's right, and I'm still Kevin. So we want to talk about some books, and being that we're all hanging out together, and we're going to be doing some food later on, as far as just eating junk stuff. But we want to talk about some new things. Now, one of the things I want to talk about, and I didn't tell anybody that here what my overall goal was, which is I want to break some of the how should I say stigmas of what people think of people that read comics. So even right here, you're seeing kind of a small spectrum, but we're going to talk to Jerry right here. And one of the reasons why is, hey, Jerry,
How you doing?
before you met me, were you ever reading in books?
Probably one time in 6th grade, I had a comic book class.
All right.
But other than that,
All right.
pretty new to this.
You remember what books you read when you're in that class?
I honestly don't really remember. I remember reading a book called Bones.
Yeah.
Bones. And I read some book about like kids' nightmares, but I don't really remember what it's called.
And Khalees,
That's too long ago.
do you remember your first book that you read? No?
Probably from you recently.
But I was just wondering if there was any book that actually hit you hard and anything that you remember as far as the first book.
Oh, actual book, A Wrinkle in Time.
So that was the first book you read, was A Wrinkle in Time.
Not the first book, but the first good book.
Memorable type thing that kind of really left an impression.
Mm-hmm.
So again, Jerry's new to this. So the first book I threw at him was Unsacred. So I kind of purposely played on the whole male thing. And presently you are up to number 4. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So this is, did you actually get to read this?
Yes.
So I had the gold foil coming. And now what did you think of Unsacred? Again, from a person that has never really read comics before, what did you think of that book?
I really like the way that they play on the story. It makes you go back on the other books and just think about how their relationship grew and how a lot of people could relate to it, especially in these days.
Now, your first impression of the book when you were reading it, was that anything what you expected a comic book to be like?
Not really. I thought it was like, I thought it was how do I put it into words? Like basic. I just thought it was like superhero comics, stuff like that.
Now, Khalees, you've actually seen Unsacred before, right? You read the first. Well, you've read a couple panels of the first issue.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that at all what you would expect of a comic?
I mean, kind of, because when you first started doing this, you were reading not superhero books, weren't you?
I would like to think of myself as regularly. Kai, can you grab that? Can you? Don't want to ignore the chat. Some comic book hunter. I appreciate you hanging out there with us. And is mine with us?
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
He is, in fact.
appreciate you being here.
stream at a time.
Well, yeah, I appreciate everyone here. What the idea behind the stream is: one, we were hijacked by these guys, and two, I'm doing an interview and breaking a stigma, about how people view certain people that read comics. Also, he's new to the whole comic thing. I totally am been saturating him with just a few books, and which leads me to now you read Unsacred, and then I threw the next book at you, which was what?
Money Shot.
Right. Now you got to read the final one of Money Shot, which came out this week. This is the end of the arc, and I've been a big fan of this book. I am a huge science nut, and anything that can blend both sex and science, I'm in. So, what did you think of this whole Money Shot series?
I think the possibilities to just the stories that are coming or are soon to come are gonna be crazy. Um, just possibilities are endless.
Now, would you recommend this storyline to anybody?
Yeah, that's for sure.
In your
Makes you
head, can
think.
you actually formulate ideas of who you would introduce a story like this to that may have never seen anything like this to?
I have a couple friends who would probably read it and be like, "What's up with the next book?"
Now, Khalees, right now you're reading a book. Right before you guys went on live, you guys were reading something. Can you tell the community what you guys were reading?
I forget what it's called.
It's American Jesus
That's right. Now,
trip.
how that book starts out and how it ends is to me, there's an old story from Isaac Asimov called The Billion Names of God. It only takes, even in the stream, if you were to bail off for 2 minutes and come back, you would read it. So it's a really short tale. It only, it's a real quick read. And I get that feel from American Jesus, and as opposed to coming from a scientific point of view, it's purely from a religious one.
Hmm.
So you guys are just now getting a feel of. Again, it's only a 3-issue run, American Jesus. I recommend the story. It's a really quick read. If you give it another couple months, you either find it in trade or you'll end up finding all these stuff in the dollar bins really soon. So it didn't hit with people. I really enjoyed it. The first issue is getting you a feel of what's going on with the life of this individual who's considered the individual of the second coming, or Jesus reincarnate.
Yeah.
Now you guys are just now getting a feel of what this person has to go through in their life. So when you're reading this book, what is hitting you guys harder? Does it depend on the book? I mean, is it the art? Is it the story? I mean, when you see these books that I've been because I know I've been giving you different stuff, and I know there's sexual orientation to it, but I mean, it wasn't until you got to issue 3 on Unsacred that you went in your head back in the first 2 issues and went, wow, I have to now pay more attention to what I did. I was able to recall this stuff, but it forced you to, right?
Yeah.
So in your mind, when you're drawn to some of this stuff, I mean, or how should I say, when you're intrigued by some of these things, what's kind of pulling you in?
The story. I want to see how the story turns out. I feel like the beginning of Unsacred really grabbed me because at first he will, just to say it in other words, he wanted to get some and he was going crazy over it. And then I wanted to see if he actually did in the end. So it kept me going, and I ended up, even after he did, I wanted to just keep on going. And it turns out that there might be a baby devil in the next one. Hopefully that there is. But yeah, they only got 4 views.
Another book you would recommend?
Money Shot.
There are.
We're cooking food
Cancel.
right now. We got pizza going on. We got fries. We got
It's
chicken
a
nuggets.
buffet. It's a small. It's like a mini buffet.
You picked up 1 through 6, and you're reading that. And man, you are so gonna love it. But also, you'll be in time. In May is when I can't remember what it's called, but there's the name fairies in it. So it's the Clockwork and the Fairies or something like that.
Oh,
The one
Canton, the
shot?
Clockwork Fairies.
He's got it. So that will come out in May, and then following of that in June will be the new next ongoing series of that. I did read word. I know I'm deviating from Frank Gogol. He made an announcement on Source Point on a separate site because everyone's doing all these online things right now. He made the announcement that there will be a volume two of Dead End Kids coming out later on this year. He didn't say an official time. I'm going to throw a speculation time out there. The impression I was getting is sometime after September. That was the impression I was getting. But now that things are slowed up for everyone, we'll only hope that it will be around that time. Enjoy Kanto. I know you will. I'm telling you. And if you don't, you can yell at me. So now you read Unsacred, you read Money Shot, you've read you're now reading American Jesus. Now all these things are considerably different. Now what I want to throw at you in a little bit will be something like and Kai was making mention this too, like what's behind there, which I just got to reading, the Dollhouse Family. Um, this issue right here puts all four of the other issues together. I know there was some vagueness about things going on, about why these individuals were being chosen, and it seemed very random. It all pieces itself together in that issue. I know that even Mercy will be doing that soon. Now, I end up picking way at the end over there, the Agrasuko. Recommend that. If you are a metal guy, I'm glad you're there, Mark, because I believe you are also a metal dude in there. You'll dig this fucking thing. It's a way for what's the name of the main character, Kai? Setsuko?
Agretsuko.
No, that's the name of the title. The name of the main character is
Ratsuko.
Ratsuko. Ratsuko's way of getting out of frustrations is just going to a karaoke bar, renting out an hour or two, and just singing some death metal. It's fucking killer. um, that was almost in its entirety it. I want to introduce some new individuals to the community by saying Jerry and Khalees are individuals that are not really consider themselves avid readers. And what I'm doing is I've been throwing books at them, and I wanted them to see you, the community. I wanted them to read some of these books, and I wanted them to convey to you as a newcomers to both the community and as readers what their journey like has been so far. And I think that's about it. Yeah. I say we go ahead and eat some pizza. And we're going to go ahead and just hang out, watch you guys in the community out there. So from all of us at
1, 2.
Comic
Talk.
we are out. Thank you very much.
There's another one.
We appreciate you.